Donnie Dunphy would love this because we're just having a time. Getting ready for this fight. We have King Bobby Greene taking on Thiago Moises. Matt, I will put this out there on the line right now. This is one of the best fights on this card. You have a guy in Bobby Greene. I don't know if anybody's had a better 2020 in MMA. Insert the names here. I know Adesanya's had a good year. We can continue down the line. But Bobby Greene, his last 3 fights, so he's coming in on a losing streak. He's won 3 in a row over some good names. I mean, I don't think I have to really stress it too much, but Clay Guida, Lando Venata, and Alain Patrick. And in that fight against Patrick, Bobby Greene mopped the floor with him. He looked great. And if you're a big supporter of Thiago Moises, because I think that there's a decent opportunity for an underdog pick here. Alain Patrick was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he had spent a lot of time off and he was pretty old. And Bobby Greene looked amazing in that fight. And it's been just like a career revival for California's Greene. The guy's boxing combinations are back. The shoulder rolls in full effect. And his takedown defense is great. And that's what I can say about Bobby Greene's 2020, Matt. I mean, the guy's on fire. This is a guy that a long time ago people thought, hey, he can make waves at 155. Here's your shot, Bobby Greene, especially with a win over a guy like Thiago Moises. And for Moises in his last time out, it's been a while. It was the Michael Johnson fight where he was losing that first round against Michael Johnson's well-rounded. I mean, again, I don't have to stress the wins that he's had in his career. He's beaten some of the top-level guys that are still at the top in this division. And he's lost to guys like Thiago Moises and others. Almost lost to Artem Lobov in a co-main event slot in Moncton. But for Thiago Moises, he is a pure jiu-jitsu guy, and that much is certain. But he is relatively decent on the feet. I hope I didn't oversell it. I hope I didn't undersell it there. Fill us in on Thiago Moises.
I'm going to just do a great job selling it. Call me, hi, Billy Mays here with Thiago Moises. So he has a really interesting game, and I wouldn't say it is in the Damian Maia category because there are a few key differences, but Moises does really stress the takedown a lot, and I do like the Michael Johnson fight, kind of paralleling this one with that, because Michael Johnson has the really good boxing skills, and he has good wrestling defense, very similar to Bobby Greene, but it's weird because Bobby Greene and Michael Johnson kind of seesawed each other. Michael Johnson used to be at the top of the division, and then his skills have kind of seemed to regress as Bobby Greene's continued to improve, even at this stage of his career. And I do think that the guys who he has fought on this, recent run have sort of prepped him for a fight like this, because Clay Guida, he's not what he used to be. He doesn't have crazy power. His wrestling's not as explosive, but he's a good guy to get you ready for the straight jiu-jitsu, MMA fighters, because you're going to be defending takedowns constantly. You're going to have to keep up with his output on the feet. If you're able to kind of get over that hurdle, then I do favor you in a fight like this, because Moises on the feet, he's not going to offer Bobby Greene that much, because Bobby Greene, he's a phenomenal boxer. The only guys who really give him trouble on the feet are the Edson Barbosas, the Dustin Poiriers.
Jakar Close.
The Jakar Close. But even that fight, I thought Bobby Greene won, honestly. Greene's wrestling offense is something that is really surprising, too. It's something that he has started to use a little bit more in this stage of his career.
Don't do it in this fight, Bobby.
No, this is definitely not the fight to do it in, but if he does have success on the feet, he is starting to go for takedowns because his top control is really good, and he's got great ground and pound from the top position. He doesn't pass guard all that often. He will just kind of sit in his opponent's guard, throw those longer hooks to try to get to his opponent's head. Again, would not recommend doing that in this fight, because we saw, again, to throw back to the Michael Johnson fight, Moises loses that first round handily, gets outstruck really badly, and then immediately second round starts, goes out there and gets the submission like it's nothing. So he can really flip that switch. And I say this with some fighters, I don't know if I put Moises on that level, but he's got similar to that one-hit, one-kill jiu-jitsu where it's like, okay, for as long as you're on the ground with this guy, you have to be worried about your ankles, your knees, your wrists, your arms, everything really, because he's that high level of a black belt that if you do make any mistakes in the transitions, he can catch a submission. With all that being said, I do think Bobby Greene just has the tools to beat a guy like Thiago Moises. He's got the wrestling defense. If the striking is getting to Moises, and if he does start shooting for takedowns, I think Bobby Greene can keep this fight on the feet. And even though Bobby Greene is at this sort of advanced stage in his career, he's got really good cardio for the output that he puts out. It's not like he's a guy who just kind of pot shots as he gets tired throughout the fight. He has a really high output, and if he is able to really damage you early on in the fight, yes, his cardio is going to fade, but I would say he has very average cardio. It's not like he fades, to this crazy amount where he's almost unusable by the third round. With Moises, if he does get off to a good start and is really grappling heavy, he might tire himself out, and I do kind of worry about that because Bobby Greene, really resilient guy. It's not like you're going to go out there and really rely on the fact that you're going to finish him. So if Bobby Greene can get past that first round and a half, take some of the explosiveness away from Moises, I do think he'll kind of be able to put on a boxing clinic on the feet.
If you look at the total votes over in Tapology, does this surprise you at all? That a 759 total votes, 87% of Bobby Greene, 86% of them have him to win by decision. If we look at the odds quickly, Matt, I mean, Bobby Greene, one of the bigger favorites on the card, open to -170. Wish I got him there. Wish I got him when he was at -225. He's now at a -300. And if we look at Thiago Moises, open +145. He's now a +237 underdog. I don't like where it's at now, but I think where it's at now actually has a lot of value if you like Thiago Moises, because there's definitely more than an opportunity than those Tapology votes or the odds would suggest. I mean, Thiago Moises, I get it. He didn't beat Benny and the Jets, Beneil Dariush. He's faced a weird level of competition so far in his UFC run. You look at the win that he had on Contender Series over Kudus, loses to Dariush, beats Kurt Hollabaugh, loses to Zmagulov, beats Michael Johnson. It's a seesaw. Like, I think, personally, Damir Zmagulov has a good opportunity in the UFC to become... This might be controversial, to become ranked at 55. Michael Johnson, is he a 45er? Is he a 55er? Where is he at? And I mean, he won that first round handily and then went out there and got submitted really quickly. So does Bobby Greene have the wherewithal to use that takedown defense at 74% so far in a long UFC career? Can he keep it standing? Because if it does, and again, as this fight continues on, they're going to start to sweat. And that's going to be a disadvantage for Thiago Moises. I don't know. I just see this as being a fight that's definitely Bobby Greene's. I think he's going to be able to set things up on the feet and withstand the takedown attempts from Moises. But, and I have to stress, but I would not put a single dime on this fight. It's a pop and popcorn fight if I've ever seen one. I'm just looking forward to this one, but I'm going with Bobby Greene here.
Yeah, I do think this could be a really fun fight, and I do think this is kind of a sneaky pick for fight of the night, because it could just kind of devolve into an absolute brawl, because Bobby Greene does have those kind of fights. He is a guy who, if he does stick to his technique and his boxing skill, he can go out there, really work the jab, and, you know, show off some of his technique, but Bobby Greene not afraid to kind of go out there and brawl. And it does come down to how good is his takedown defense in this fight, because if it is on the feet, he's going to be able to outstrike Thiago Moises for 15 minutes. That's one of the least surprising things I'll say in any of these videos. But if it does go to the ground, like we had mentioned, Moises got that absurd jiu-jitsu, can finish Bobby Greene. And I do think that's the coin flip that you have. It's either all Bobby Greene on the feet or all Thiago Moises on the ground. And I'm just going to stick with Bobby Greene.
Matt, we're both going with Bobby Greene in this fight. I'm really looking forward to it. A great main card. So you're going to want to watch those videos in the playlist. If you please, keep locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt, as we always say.
Let's get into it.